Testing. Check. Test 1, 2, 3. Testing. Gnocchi. Asparagus. Testing 1, 2, 3. Help. Help. Testing. Okay. Testing. Hello? Oh, sorry. Yeah, you might have heard me say help during the sound check. That's nothing to be alarmed about. The word help tests something called plosives, which is when you say a P into a microphone. Help. Help. It's a good way to test whether your levels are too high. So you might hear me say help every now and then. Slashnox says, my mom said to shut up asking for help and make the dish, Henry. Oh, you're watching with your mom? That's cool. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Henry's Kitchen, where today we're going to be making Henry's now famous handmade, homemade gnocchi. Normally takes several hours to make gnocchi, but we're going to try and get it done here in about an hour. For those unfamiliar with gnocchi, gnocchi is gnocchi. Gnocco is the singular, and then if you're saying multiple gnocchi, that would be plural. Are a varied family of dumpling in Italian cuisine. They are made of small lumps of dough, most traditionally composed of a simple combination of wheat flour, egg, salt, and potatoes. Variations on the dish exist where individuals often supplement the simple recipe with flavor additives, such as seminola, cheese, breadcrumbs, cornmeal, or similar ingredients, and possibly including herbs, vegetables, and other ingredients. Sorry, there's a lot of shit here. I'm gonna kind of get through it. The word gnocchi may be derived from the Italian word nucchio, meaning a knot in wood, or from nucca, which means knuckle. It has been a traditional type of Italian pasta since Roman times. It was introduced by the Roman legions during the expansion of the empire into the countries of the European continent. One ancient Roman recipe consists of a seminola porridge-like dough mixed with eggs. Similar modern dishes include the baked gnocchi alla romana and Sardinian malaretas. Ours is probably more like the Sardinian malaretas, which do not contain eggs. No, actually, we do contain eggs. After potatoes were introduced to Europe, they were eventually incorporated into gnocchi recipes. Potato gnocchi are particularly popular in Abruzzo, Friuli, Venezuela, Giulia, Veneto, and Lazio. So the first order of business is, as you can see, is I have a boiling pot here. That's where we're going to prep our potatoes. So let's go ahead and get started. We got a lot of work to do. There seems like there's a couple questions here. Clunkson says, isn't it pronounced gnocchi? Yeah, gnocchi. Is there gonna be a test? That's dark and stormy nights. Yeah, you know, I always like to read the background, and if you want to follow along the best that you can, that's good. There's not a test or anything, but if you ever want to find any of the background information that I'm getting, I usually get it off of Wikipedia probably about 3 minutes before I start the videos. Hacklin says, I only have water drop water. Can I use that to cook the potatoes? Nimline. Water drop water. I'm not sure what that is, but it sounds like water, so you probably could. Atzlia the Happy says, is that actually how you pronounce gnocchi? Yes, it is. It's like an N, and then it's like you're saying Yoko Ono. So you'd say Nyoko, but that's for one, and then if it's plural, it's gnocchi. Peristasis says, my store was out of potatoes. Is sweet potatoes okay? Maybe. I don't know. Sweet potatoes are a different fruit, so I'm not sure that that's going to work. But you could try it and let us know how it goes. Pancake King says, Henry, you've obviously conquered the kitchen, and this is incredibly entertaining. Have you ever thought of going into show business? Hey, you know, this is a show, and it's a business. Speaking of business, I want to bring up a sort of a serious matter. Every now and then I've been approached by food products that are asking me to sponsor their foods, and I just want to say that I'm completely willing to do that. I wanted to make sure though that the Henry's Kitchen show doesn't have the, what would you call it, the taint of outside sources. So I would make sure that whatever products that I'm using during the show would be something that I actually stand behind and that I believe. For example, at the moment I'm drinking coffee from a company called Starbucks, which has stores, but they also have coffee that they sell at the stores, and that's what I'm doing now. I made the coffee at home, but anyway. One last thing. I promised everybody Last week I was in Canada, and I made my Canadian butter tarts as sort of a tribute to Canada, because this is a major source of pride from the east to the west coast in Canada, and I really didn't want to fuck it up because I didn't want to insult anybody appropriating their country's traditions and whatnot. But I think that the dish actually came out pretty good. It was maybe a little low on flavor, but it definitely had the consistency of a tart. And I actually, after I was done, I heard a couple of kids playing out in the street, and I gave them a little sampling of my Canadian butter tarts, and I think it went well. I actually have the video here I can show you. So I think it's a good idea if you're eating your food all by yourself. You have to ask yourself whether you're really helping the world with your food. And I like to help other people, and so that's kind of what was going on there. All right, I think it's time to start making gnocchi. So let's start with our potatoes. I haven't done a lot of prep because I was traveling, but uh-oh. This always happens. There we go. Okay, so these are what you call Russell potatoes. And I want to thank everybody for subscribing. Maybe when I put the potatoes in the boiling water, I can start doing some shout outs. Let's see. I Love Planking says, hey Henry, can I boil water then save it for later in the fridge? I don't like waiting for boiling water. Yeah, you can store it. I think boiling water stores for several weeks before it starts to become brackish. Okay, RageMaster999 says blink once if you are forced to advertise products. Yeah, that's a good method actually. But again, I won't be advertising anything that I don't actually believe in. So these are Micro Baker brand baked yams, sweet potato taste from the Microwave Minutes. What the hell is this, man? I thought that I was getting, these are supposed to be russet potatoes. They in the okay, now I'm kind of pissed off because at the supermarket they had a bin and it literally said russet potatoes, and whatever. So whoever asked about if you could make them with sweet potatoes, I guess we're gonna find out. Maybe it'll be better, I don't know, but I don't know what the fuck this even is, but we're gonna do it. It says baked yam sweet potato taste from the microwave, and I don't want to microwave it either, so there's so many problems that I have with the local supermarket. I sometimes spend hours just walking around trying to find simple things like, macaroni and cheese or whatever, and I'll ask them where to find it, and they'll be like, well, it's in the freezer section or whatever. I'm like, well, maybe you should tell people that. Okay, so I'm taking the shrink wrap. The first thing you want to do is take the shrink wrap off of your potatoes, and we're going to skin them. So prepare potatoes. Let's just go over the first order of business here. Prepare potatoes. Once potatoes are cooked, let rest until cool enough to handle. All right, I think before that even I have to skin the potatoes. Let's do that. I'm just going to grab... I'm going to be using this knife, which is a pretty sharp knife for my liking, but there's really no other way to skin potatoes. Make sure you can have a good visual of this. Okay, so I hope everybody had a good weekend. I did a lot of traveling, and I read an article recently about how important it is to smile at people, so I was just going through the airport and trying to smile at as many people as I could. And it's weird, I had varying reactions from people. Like, for the most part, people smiled back, but then there were some people that seemed like they were kind of creeped out. And I think it's kind of sad that something as innocent as smiling at somebody when they're walking out of the bathroom or something can be perceived as anything other than just friendliness. Okay, that worked out pretty good. So we've got that, and let's cut. You want all the skin off of it. All right, if you're just joining us, we are making gnocchi. You're supposed to use russet potatoes, but these were mislabeled, not my fault, at my local supermarket, and so we're going to do the best we can with what we got, which that's a lot of what, I'd probably say that's 90% of what cooking is. Potatoes always reminds me of when I was in high school. I was hopelessly in love with this girl named Nancy, and she broke up with me. We had a little bit, you know, we were boyfriend and girlfriend for, I guess, about 3 or 4 days, and then she broke up with me. And it's just funny how I look back on that and how depressed I was, thinking that the entire rest of my life was ruined. And I was right. Okay. Gaming Jacob just subscribed for 2 months. Thanks very much. All right, so we have one more to go. As a matter of fact, you know what? Well, yeah, we'll see how many we can get away with here. I think I'm just going to do the 2. Well, I'm going to do 3. So if you're following at home, there is something called a potato peeler. I don't believe I have one of those, but why would you do that if you have a knife anyway? It's basically peeling a potato with a knife. You have to watch out for some of these kind of scam products that they try to get you on. Unless the brand of potato peeler wants to sponsor the show, in which case I'll look into it and see if maybe there is something redeemable there. All right. Here we go. We've got our potatoes, and the next order of business, I believe, is that we are going to put these in the boiler. We've got our water boiling. Sorry. They're slippery. Okay. All right, so we're going to boil those for about 15 minutes. I know this might seem a little bit like cheating, but my famous gnocchi recipe is in the Henry's Kitchen cookbook, which is sort of the Bible of the kitchen. I don't think any kitchen should be without it. Available on Amazon. Okay. But I'm not here to sell the book. I just want to look up my gnocchi recipe because I'm actually a little disappointed in this one that I got from the internet, and I know that I made gnocchi pretty well once before. So peel skin off potatoes and boil for 10 to 15 minutes. Remove from heat, put in a strainer for 5 minutes, watching to make sure. Okay, so we've peeled the skin off. We're boiling now. Alexa, set timer for 10 minutes.
10 minutes, starting now.
I'm going to turn up the... Alexa, how much time left on the timer?
You have 9 minutes and 40 seconds left on your 10-minute timer.
Okay. All right, so we've got about 10 minutes, and maybe this would be a good time. I have a couple of song requests since we're killing time here. Maybe I can get to a couple of the songs. Big Robbie. By the way, the place that you request songs is on the Discord. If you're interested in requesting songs, you can do so there. There's also a lot of pictures of people's food and recipes and things like that. So feel free to go on there. Someone named Big Robbie requested this song from Glenn Campbell. I'm going to do the best I can to get through it. Oh man, let's see. I've been walking these streets so long, singing the same old song. I know every crack in these dirty sidewalks of Broadway, where hustling's the name of the game. Nice guys like me get washed away in the storms and the rain. There's been a load of compromising on the road to my horizon, but I'm gonna be where the light is shining on me, like a rhinestone cowboy lying out on a horse on a star-spangled rodeo, just like a rhinestone cowboy, getting cards and letters from some shit that I don't even know, and offers coming over the phone. I guess that one relates a little bit to the sort of newfound success I've had with sponsorships pouring in, and sometimes it's a little bit overwhelming, and you feel really like a rhinestone cowboy, whatever that is. I'm not even sure, but we have another one here. This is Pastor. Pastor has a song that they wanted to hear. I'm not sure whether Pastor is a man or a woman, but it doesn't really say on the Discord. So Pastor wanted to hear a song by Creedence Clearwater Revival, and it's called "Have You Ever Seen the Rain?" And this is sort of a party song. Let's see. I'm gonna be reading the chords. Someone told me long ago, there's a calm before the storm, and I know it's been coming for some time. When it's over, so they say, it'll rain a sunny day, I know, shining down like water. Speaking of which, I wanna know, have you ever seen the rain? I wanna know, have you ever seen the rain? Sorry, I gotta scroll down to get the last lyric here. Coming down on a sunny day. So thank you, Pastor, for that one. That was a nice kind of a pick-me-up. Sahara Destruction says, Henry, have you ever seen the rain? That's a good question. I live in Southern California and we're in the middle of a 20-year drought, so I'd like to see more rain than I've been seeing. Okay. One more song here. Alexa, how much time left on the timer? Uh-oh. Alexa, how much time left on the timer?
You have 4 minutes and 10 seconds left on your 10-minute timer.
Okay, so Beelzebub wanted to hear this song called Rovin' on the Bog. Now, this is a traditional, what you would call an Irish jig. And some of the lyrics in there, these lyrics were written probably 300 years ago, so maybe some of them may or may not have aged well, but that's the way a lot of traditional songs go. So no one really knows who wrote this song, but I know that it was recorded by Jose Suicidio. As I was roving on the bog on a misty Irish morning, an Englishman jumped up and shouted, ho, top of the morning, row, ho, diddle-I-do. Fancy free with an Irish jig, shave my belly with a rusty knife, and I go home in the morning, a bottle of rum and a fancy jig, and the road rise up to meet you. Just put another shrimp on the barbie, friend, and I'll be there to greet you. Row, ho, diddle-I-do. It's an Irish morning, friend, shitting in the bucket with a drunken whore, and I go home in the morning. Row, ho, diddle-I-do. Misty Irish morning, friend, hey, shitting in a bucket with a drunken whore, and I go home in the morning. A lot of words in that one. It's very difficult to get through, and a lot of those lyrics are, you know, I guess sort of didn't age well, but again, I have no idea who writes this shit. That's a weird one there. Let's see if there's any questions. Breezy Rob says, is this really by Jose Suicidio? I believe the song, the song is. Let's check on. Every now and then the water will boil up, but we're getting there, guys. I'm gonna start arranging my work area here a little bit. I'm gonna use our purple bowl, which is what I call the work bowl. And if you want a work bowl like this, I literally got it at the 99-cent store. I think it's now like the $1.25 store or something like that, but it's you can get something like this pretty easily. Attila the Happy says, how long have I been playing the guitar? I've been playing for many years, and if you're interested in learning a new skill, I would highly suggest going to YouTube and trying to do it that way. 11, you know, I when I was a little kid, I used to stay indoors and play guitar and write sad songs while the other kids were playing. And after I got into my mid-40s, I started looking for other ways that I could you know, spend my time. And I started going to YouTube and not only learning how to cook, but learning how to teach people how to cook. And now I've been cooking for 7 years or something, and I've been teaching it for like 10 years. And it's been just so glorious. And if it weren't for YouTube, I wouldn't be able to do the kind of magic that I do here in the kitchen. So I can't recommend it enough. Alexa, how much time left on the timer?
You have 10 seconds left on your 10-minute timer.
Okay, so we're just gonna wait that out. Alexa, stop timer. Okay. So now we're going to take out our. I'll be using a spotted spoon to get these out. It just occurred to me, I'm not sure if I've washed my purple bowl, but for the purposes of today, I think that'll be okay. So far, so good. Let's turn off the oven, or the stove, because I've made that mistake before. Oh, speaking of which, this would be a good time to check and see if this is going to be a recipe that we're going to need to put in the oven. And I don't think it is. Okay. So once potatoes are cooked, let rest until cool enough to handle, and then peel. We already peeled. Use a potato ricer to press one piece of potato at a time. Yeah, you don't have to do any of that. I'm going to go to the Henry's Kitchen version, which says that the next one is in a large bowl, we're going to mash our potatoes until completely mashed. So let's just go ahead and do that. Start mashing them. This is already a little bit of a bummer. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to leave our oven on, or our water hot, because I feel like since these are sweet potatoes or whatever, they're probably not quite done to the extent that we need them, but it is working. Sort of. These are supposed to be mashed. You know what? I'm going to put these into the oven again. Every now and then you have to do this kind of thing. Almost lost one there. I'm going to let that sit for just a little bit, just a few more minutes. Beelzebub says, should we get a shoe for mashing? Actually, good question. I'm probably going to use this to mash it. It's not a masher. This is a slotted spoon, but it's got a wide surface area there, so I think we're probably going to use this to mash it. We just got to get those. It's the fucking potatoes that I got from the supermarket. They're supposed to be Russell potatoes or whatever, and literally they were in the bin. I want to take a picture of it and show you next time. They were in the bin that said Russell potatoes, and I got some kind of sweet potato microwave shit. So I apologize, it's not even my fault. I'm demand an apology from the supermarket for mislabeling their stuff. So I'm a little upset about that, but we're not going to let it mess us up today. Let's start getting ready to mash these things. First we'll do a little check-in. Yeah, so those are going to get nice and mashy. And we're going to have this. Let's go over a couple of our other ingredients. I've got 1 egg, which is fortunate because I only have 1 egg left. We're going to be putting that in there eventually. We've got some tomato sauce. Any kind of sauce that you want is fine. You're supposed to use ricotta cheese, but I've got this kind of cheese, which is Parmesan. It's totally fine. By the way, if anybody wants to see what it is that we're going for here, this is going to be the dish that we're going to end up with here in about 20 minutes. And it's going to be very nice. A couple of our other ingredients. You don't really have a lot of ingredients here. You've got flour, so I'm going to be using some flour. I'm going to get our cups. I've got measuring cups, but as I've said before, these are not always accurate. You can't always trust these, so you also want to use a little bit of common sense. And probably a little bit of butter. Got some butter here. So we're all ready. We just need to get this, get these potatoes to a mashable form, or state, as it were. Maybe in the meantime I can answer a couple more of your questions here. Utter Sucker says, does nut butter work? Yeah, any kind of butter should be fine. Jolly Austin 1 says, can I substitute a little butter with a lot of butter? Absolutely. Yeah, the amount of butter that you put in there is up to you. Just know that if you put more butter in there, it's going to be more buttery. Mancholo X says, can I measure the common sense with the measuring cup? I'm not sure if it's a measurable thing. Oh yeah, so Jesse says, you know what games you plan on playing? I want to officially announce starting tomorrow night, and I haven't officially announced this, but Thursday night, tomorrow night, 9 p.m. 9 p.m. Pacific time will be the first time that I'm going to be doing a stream of just variety stuff. I'm not going to be cooking because cooking is very exhausting. I'll always be cooking on Wednesdays and Sundays, but this is going to be hanging out with friends, doing some songs, taking requests from the Discord or live. And already tomorrow I'm going to be teaching a couple of other people that I've met here on Twitch how to cook probably one of my famous dishes. I'm thinking maybe my chili for one. Bumble Vision and the LGX, who are both streamers in their own right, and we're going to try to figure out how I can teach them how to cook. So we are sort of cooking on that, but ultimately I think we want to play some games. So far I just have a Mac, and eventually want to move to a PC, so I don't necessarily have all the options, but I'll be playing some Mac-based games. And also Nim, who's the one who, my mentor on Twitch, who started me out here and everything, has agreed to play some games with me too. I believe we're doing that Sunday the 14th. So a lot of fun stuff coming up. Let's check on our potatoes. Yeah, I mean, I think this is probably okay. That's kind of scary what's happening there. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to use a... I'm going to use the whatever this thing's called, the grater or whatever. Now we're doing it right. Yeah. Okay. So I don't know how to there we go. Getting a little better with the camera work here. Some people have asked about roast beef. He's been very quiet lately. I'm a little worried, but he's, I believe, sleeping underneath the sink at the moment. Okay, so if we can consort with our instructions, I'm kind of going back and forth between a Wikipedia ingredient and also a cookbook, my cookbook. So we're gonna start making dough. We're gonna drizzle our potatoes with a beaten egg, and we're gonna dot it with our ricotta cheese. We're gonna sift the flour and salt and pepper over the potatoes, but first things first, we gotta mash these guys. So here we go. Sorry, this dish is really kind of a pain in the ass. So we're gonna mash these potatoes, and then we're gonna pour in our flour. Okay, so let's just start mashing. Okay. Okay, these aren't mashing very easily, and it could be because this thing's made out of rubber. So I'm gonna see what else we've got to work with here. This thing looks good. Well, son of a bitch, these things are still hard inside, and I think it's because we're using the wrong kind of potato, but whatever. I'm just gonna kind of slice the heck out of these things, and maybe even put it in the microwave. I don't see any reason why that wouldn't work. Hold on, I'm gonna do that. Wait, does this go in the microwave? I'm not sure, actually. I'm a little... Alexa, what types of things can you put in the microwave?
According to an Alexa Answers contributor, high temperature glass and ceramic containers are microwave safe. Avoid metal, one-time use take-up containers, and plastic freezer or sandwich bags. Some plastics are microwave safe, while others are not. Refer to the manufacturer of the container for specifications and safety notifications.
All right, well that didn't help. But anyway, we seem to be mashing these. It's actually kind of working, so I'm gonna stop bitching about it, but still it just kind of makes me mad. All right. Let's go ahead and start adding in our other ingredients here. So we have some mashed potatoes here. So if nothing else, we're going to wind up with mashed potatoes. Next, we're going to, it says to do it for an hour, but we don't have that kind of time. Crack and remove the shell part of an egg and place in the bowl. So here we go. That worked out pretty good. I'm going to throw this shell away. Next up, we also have, don't get shell fragments into potato mixture. I think we didn't. If the egg drops or falls, just scoop it with a spoon into a separate cup and then pour. We did fine on that. Add in half of the flour and start mixing the ingredients by hand into a ball. Okay, so we want 1.5 cups of flour. So I want to show you a little trick. Obviously, I don't want to just take this flour and pour it into the cup because I'm going to get flour all over the place. So what I want to do is I want to put the cup inside the flour thing, but that doesn't work either because this is a full cup. But guess what? Alexa, how much is half of 1 cup?
According to an Alexa Answers contributor, half of a half cup is 1/4 cup.
Yeah, so I'm just going to put in 2/4 of a cup. So I've got this guy. And then you want to sift it when it's inside so you're not getting flour all over the place. And the total amount that we need is going to be 1.5 cups. I just put in 3 or 2. I don't know. Does anybody remember how many I put in? I think I did 3, so I'm going to do 1 more and do it like that. So yeah, you're supposed to count while you're pouring them in there so that you have an idea. But okay, so we've got our flour there, and we're going to start mixing this stuff. And what we want is a smooth ball. I'm going to start by, oh that's right, this thing sucks, we're not using that. We're going to stir it with this. I'm going to be honest with you, this dish is not exactly going the way that I want it to go, but every time that happens, I look at it as a challenge, you know? If everything just went right all the time, like in your life where you just, you know, would try to do something and it worked out perfect, and then you went home and you had a lot of money and pretty much anything you needed, well, that wouldn't be a good life, you know? I mean, I guess it'd be okay, but I guess what I'm saying is that when stuff goes wrong, I look at that as an opportunity. Already this is looking a little more like gnocchi. Let's just take a quick peek at what our end goal is. So I can already see that some of the color that we have is coming through. I think this is going to work. All right, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to have to prepare some kind of a surface. So, okay. So this is going to be basically, we're going to roll this into a ball. I know it seems weird, but this is the way you do it. Hey, millions of chefs throughout history can't be wrong. So, okay, so let's just start. Ooh, that's hot, actually, still hot. Okay. That's not, okay, that's very hot. So I'm gonna change a plan here. I'm gonna cool down my hands. Maybe we'll do another song while we're waiting. Does anybody have a request for a song? it's going so fast, but somebody named Digis something requested a song called Hold Me. Which is a beautiful Jose Suicidio song about unrequited love. I'm gonna try to do the best I can. Please don't let this one slip away. Make her real and make her stay. 'Cause love is a game of hide and seek, but no one ever looks for me. But this one seems like she could be different. This one seems like she really likes me. What's the point of thinking through what I'll never know the answers to? Someone hold me, hold me. Hold me a lifetime. I wanna know what I did wrong. Hold me, hold me. I wanna know why it's against all the odds. Something like that. I did the best I could on that. I couldn't really remember a lot of it. That was for Nancy. Yeah, thank you. Let's see. Not seeing a lot of other songs here. Somebody requested the song Drivin', which is a song that I wrote a long time ago. I'm going to try to get through. I ain't going to a friend's house, and I ain't going to my place of work, and I ain't going to a baseball game or a picture show. I'm just driving in my car. And I'm not looking at the stop signs, and I'm not looking at the traffic lights, and I'm not worried about the side effects from the Prozac. I'm just driving in my car. That's a song back when I was on Prozac, I believe I wrote that. Prozac was a drug that they gave a lot of people 30 years ago, and then they found out later that it caused mental damage. Okay, here, Doc Steve Rule says he is trying to go to sleep and wants a little Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. Maybe we could do a little jazzed up version of it. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. I don't know. Okay, I think we're probably, hey, somebody said my haircut looks good. Thank you very much. This haircut is brought to you by somebody named Tammy. I don't know the last name. But let's go ahead and move on with this. I might have to deal with some hot hands, but that's okay. We really need to get stuff done. So this is our gnocchi ball. We're gonna make it into one round, smooth ball, if pos. I can already tell that there's a lot of lumps in this thing, which pisses me off because it's still related to that issue of not using the right thing. Where's our masher? Here we go. Yeah, there's still more mashing to be done on this thing. But we don't really have the time to sit here and mash for an hour or whatever, so I'm gonna start just sort of going into get it done mode and just start getting it done. Okay. Okay, we have these in a ball, and the next order of business is we're supposed to roll it up into a snake. So let's see how we do that. It's not very pliable, unfortunately. So I might need a little bit more flour, but my hands are all filled with junk. Actually, these are too big to be gnocchi, so I'm gonna turn it into at least two snakes. Yeah, even that's too wide. It came out much better on my video, but hold on a sec. I think I have an idea. I'm going to just take a whole shitload of flour and I'm going to start pouring it. Alexa, how much time left on the timer?
There are no timers set.
Oh, okay. We want 1 1/4 cups of flour. I'm using a little extra here because I'm not really sure what I'm doing. But yeah, I can already tell this was a smart move because now it's starting to become a little bit more pliable, which is what you want. Oh. This is more of a ball form, which is what we need. A lot of flour going on here, though. The idea is to get all of this flour that's on the outside on the inside. Oh, jeez. I think I actually need more flour, believe it or not. Why does this happen to me? I don't understand it. Like I'm literally doing everything according to the directions. And it's just, you know, it's turning into a piece of shit. Okay. Hold on. I keep on having to wash my hands. I'm just going to pour more flour on top of it because it still doesn't have quite that consistency that we need. By the way, I'm going to put more water on because we're going to need to boil this again after the fact. So just give me 1 second. Maybe this is a good time to check in. If your dish doesn't look like what I have in front of you, you might need to scroll back and look and see what you might have done to fuck up. But right now I'm going to put on some hot water because we're going to need that. And let's go ahead and just, come on guys, let's get this done. This is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Let's form it into a ball so that all of the flour is covering the wet spots. And I think there's probably not an amount of flour that would be too much in this case. All right, we're gonna make it 2 balls. We're gonna roll it out into a snake. Has anybody out there ever made gnocchi? Okay, this is what we've got, whether we like it or not. So, because, you know, it's getting late. We have 2 snakes of gnocchi. What we're going to do now is we're going to cut them up into little balls. I have to wash my hands again. So I'm going to take our knife here. If we look at the book, it says roll mixture so it's long and flat, cut into 1-inch segments or gnocchis, and then we're going to press them with a fork. So this is 1 inch. So we're cutting them up into gnocchis. These are pretty big. They're much more large than they're probably supposed to be. But, you know, there's not much we can do about that now. So I'm going to coat them with just a little bit more of the flour. You might wind up going through your whole flour at this point. Oh, pretty sure I just heard roast beef. Let's go ahead and take a look at roast beef. He seems to have just woken up and he looks confused. Oh, he's gone. Well, we're going to check in with him a little later. I'm very distracted by this dish. But here we go. So, you know what? We're going to help these along by getting them more into little gnocchi balls. So this is sort of a non-traditional way of doing it, but sometimes when you're in the kitchen, you make do. You do what you can, and right now we are definitely making do. Probably going to end up with about 8 gnocchi balls. Let's do another check on roast beef here. This is probably the messiest dish that I've ever made. There he goes. So he's alive and well and drinking from his faucet. Okay. So somebody, Berg Wendy, just subscribed as a result of seeing roast beef. So maybe having roast beef on is a good idea for viewership. Okay, well, this is the first time during this dish that I'm actually thinking this is going to work out. We've got our water boiling. Roast beef seems to be pissed off. I hope everybody's still there. This has been a long, sort of a grueling task, but we're getting there. All right, next thing we're going to do is we're going to make fork imprints. Shit. I want to talk to you a little bit about imprinting. There's several ways to do it. I don't know why I'm not seeing it. Okay. Yeah, there's the fork method. You can roll gnocchi over a fork, dip the fork in the flour to prevent sticking. You can push a piece of dough down and off the fork with your thumb. A fork gives them a more pronounced shape. You can use a gnocchi paddle, which is a special tool made for forming gnocchi. It forms gentle ridges as you push and roll the piece of dough down the paddle. You don't need to make gnocchi. Finger indent method. You could simply poke each gnocchi in the center with your fingertip and keep the very simple shape. This works great if you're sauteing, since they lose their ridges. So let's go ahead and use a combination of two. I'm going to do the finger method, where we're just literally making holes with our finger, and then I'm going to do the fork. I have a fork handy, and this is going to give your it's not only going to give you a unique shape, but it's also going to hold these things together once we put them in the boiler. Okay, so these are coming out nice. I think we're just about ready for our last step here, which is place gnocchis in the boiling water. They'll sink to the bottom. You'll know that they're done when they rise to the top. Okay, so let's go on over to our... I'm going to need to use the other camera. So I'm very sorry, roast beef, but I'm going to have to steal this. Still technically not completely there, but we're getting there. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to add the boiling water. Which I was preheating. And now we're going to simply put our gnocchis into that. So always good idea to check in how we're doing against our goal here. And I'd probably say we're definitely on the way. Let's go ahead and put these, I'm going to drop these into the boiling water. I want to be careful. Okay, so these are going to float to the bottom, or sink to the bottom. And they're going to rise. And once they rise, we're going to know that our gnocchis are done and we're ready to put them in the drainer, and then we're going to mix them with our sauce. So let's go ahead and leave that in there for, well, we don't really know how long. We're just going to see them float to the top. A couple of them are already floating to the top, which is fun. So next order of business here would be to let that water boil, and maybe this would be a good time to answer a couple of your questions if you like. Hold on a second. Okay, see if anybody has any questions here. It's just going so damn fast. Wow. Okay. Mechanical Kitten says, "Can I put my gnocchi in my kettle for quick boiling?" Yeah, that actually sounds pretty smart. Someone asked, "Did you use the cheese?" Oh shit. No, I think that we're gonna pour cheese. Let's see. If we go to our goal, yeah, I think we're gonna just pour a little bit of cheese on top. Tips on boiling water. I would just maybe put a little bit of salt in it. I think that helps the boiling. It's just a chemical thing. Astro Wrath the Grim says, "Did I get any ketchup chips in Canada?" No, but I made butter tarts. Beelzebub says, "Volume 2 of the cookbook. It should be on Amazon, but it's not signed that way. But it should be on Amazon." No Narcissist. Do you have an opinion on Tim Heidecker's new album, High School? I have not heard it, but maybe we can learn some songs from it. Vandwedge says, aren't these basically tater tots? Yeah, actually, I think they kind of are tater tots in a way. There's got to be a big difference though, because you wouldn't go to a fancy Italian restaurant and have them just give you tater tots. So I think it's more about the preparation and some of the seasonings that we're using. Okay, let's start preparing for our plating. I've got a regular bowl here, ordinary bowl, and we're going to take some sauce out of a can, so we're not actually having to make the sauce, which is good because we're running out of time. Let's grab a plate. Let's see how our gnocchis are doing here. Okay, they're starting to rise to the top, you can see. Something's happening there. So we're going to be placing the gnocchis in boiling water. There's no way to estimate how long this process takes. Scientists say that it will be determined by altitude, wind direction, and other meteorological conditions, but most regular people say it's just magic. So microwave the sauce for 1 minute, and we're going to pour it over our gnocchis. So I'm going to put this in the microwave for 1 minute. Alexa, set timer for 1 minute.
1 minute, starting now. Now you can listen to live radio shows by real people for free. Try saying, play amp.
No, thank you. Alexa's always trying to sell me shit.
I'm not sure.
Okay. Oh, shit. There was some weird noises coming out of that. It said put it in there for a minute, but I started hearing all kinds of noise. So I think we're just going to go with this. We've got some very hot sauce here. Maybe I should have put it on a lower setting. So this is just about ready, and then we're going to put our gnocchis on here. Now you can use a larger dish, of course, but I'm only one person, so I'm just going to be using sensible portions. I actually gained quite a bit of weight when I was in Canada, and I'm hoping that I can lose that. Alexa, stop timer. I think it's time to take a look at what we've got here. So this already has all that other stuff in it, so I'll just show you here. I'm cleaning my, what this was the residue of the gnocchi shit that I was doing. So let's try to clean that out. Kind of looks like barf or something. And let us now move over. Oh yeah, so I'm going to very carefully take our gnocchis. This is very heavy. And we're going to pour it into our drainer. There we go. And then let's do let's use a slotted spoon. No, let's use this thing. Actually, I'm not sure. Maybe a fork. It's hard to figure out which is the best tool to make here. So for the person who asked about the cheese, we will be doing that very soon. Oh, no, you're not getting off that. Okay. Okay, so these have a nice consistency about them, which is good. Gonna just pour the sauce over it. It is very hot. I'm actually kind of hoping that it doesn't melt. And the last thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna pour some cheese over the whole mixture. Now, usually you'll have something green, like some kind of garnish situation, but I don't have anything like that. But honestly, this is probably going to be delicious. Just the fact that we've got tomato sauce and cheese and what looks like giant tater tots. Let's take a look at our goal here. So theirs is obviously smaller, and also somebody brought this up last time. When they make these food photography pictures, they usually have special equipment that they use to make it look more delicious, but the end result is basically the same. So maybe we can set this up and look at it from a couple more angles. Honestly, I think this came out pretty delicious looking. Not bad. I'll bet you can't even tell which one's mine. Okay, so I think it's time. It's probably going to be very hot, so maybe if you just have a couple more questions here, I can answer those. And we're going to take a bite into this bad boy. OX4273 just subscribed. By the way, I almost forgot, and I never want to forget, any endeavor that we do in life requires a village, and there's been a lot of people ever since I got on Twitch who have helped me immensely. I mean, to a point where I literally would not be able to be doing this if it weren't for these people. So I want to thank the moderators: Dingo Bop, Fawcan, Dom Beef, Hottest Bear, Do Dingle, Dogoggy, Dr. Flanges, and they've done so much for me, and also other people who have offered help here and there: Bacchus, Daisy Blossom, Melon95, Pilskman, and also the folks who set up the Discord, which I think is some of those moderators, and I believe Soma is also part of that group. The Discord's been a lot of fun, and it's enabled me to see what your suggestions are for music or recipes and all that kind of stuff, so I really enjoy that. I always like to give a shout out to Nim. Nim is the streamer who all of a sudden I was checking my social media and I started seeing all these people coming out of nowhere seemingly, and I was on YouTube and seeing all these people, and they were all talking about Nim, and so I went on his show and taught him how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and then I wound up starting my own channel. So that's how this all started so long ago, about 3 months ago actually. And also my friends that I'm going to be playing with tomorrow night, Thursday night, 9 p.m. for my PST, for my first variety stream. Bumble Vision and the LGX. I'm going to be teaching them how to make chili for one. And I want to thank Sir Doom for introducing me to them. Also, some other streamers that have helped out a lot: Moon, Forsen, XQC, and there's many others. And I know that people sometimes will let me know where they're seeing these things. I also want to thank a lot of what you're watching here today was designed by Quanto, Quanto. Every time I switch from one thing to another, I'm showing boring stuff here, but it's Quanto. It's the transitions that he made, and he's also been very helpful with a lot of other things. And I believe he's getting married soon, so congratulations to Quanto. And just thanks everybody. And so if I'm leaving anybody out, I apologize, but I think it's time to see what the fuck we're gonna eat here. There's nothing in this that shouldn't be consistent with the gourmet version of gnocchi. It might not look the same as what you would get in a restaurant, but that's okay. We're making it at home for ourselves, so we're not trying to impress high-powered restaurant patrons. The sauce is delicious. The sauce tastes like if you were actually at an Italian restaurant. And I also like the cheese that we put on top. In terms of the gnocchi, it's like somebody said, it's a glorified tater tot. But it's not as tasty as tater tots normally are. But you know, I'm gonna eat it. It's gonna be lunch. But that sauce really makes it. If I have some left over, I might give some to some of the neighbors. Okay. Well, you know, we did it. We ran into trouble. The stupid local supermarket told me I was buying Russell potatoes, and they turned out to be some kind of microwavable bullshit yams or something. And I think that really set us back, and this is where it helps to have a lot of experience in the kitchen, because what I did was I added more flour, and the adding of more flour turned it into a consistency that I could actually work with, and that's why we ended up with this once again thing that we've got. I'm having some trouble with the, oh yeah, here it is. So that's that. Our gnocchis weren't small, and they're supposed to be generally, they're supposed to be the size of tater tots. They are tater tots. I actually don't know what the difference between a gnocchi and a tater tot is, except for I think that tater tots are deep fried, and you also put tomato sauce on gnocchis. So I'm gonna see if there's a couple last questions here. Let's see. Apollite says, so you didn't go with the gnocchi. What did you make? I think I made tater tots, unfortunately. I love planking. Says Henry, mine didn't turn out like yours. Where did I go wrong? If you ever feel like your dish doesn't look like the one that I've got in front of me, these videos stay up for a couple of weeks, so you can scroll back and really study every step of what we did. And Shiny Cat Lizard says, can you mail me some? Possibly. I think you could probably put these in a box, sort of like these meal prep services where you put it in a box and send it to somebody and then they just microwave it. But you could just, honestly, you could make it at home. Hopefully I showed you that it's very simple to just make this at home. Fortuna says, can I use salt to boil water faster for my tea and coffee? Well, I believe, yeah, any kind of water, if you put salt in it, it's going to boil faster. It's a little chemistry trick for you there. Pogfrog on a log says, can you taste the difference in potatoes used? Yeah, no, I definitely could taste that these were some kind of yam shit instead of the Russell potatoes that we wanted to use. Hackland says, I accidentally made fries out of the potatoes. What should I do? You know, I don't think it matters what the shape is, but yeah, French fries are basically tater tots or basically gnocchi, which was what we discovered today. What part of the restaurant does it taste like? Is TPR hee. I think it tastes like the back area. So let's see if there's a couple other things. Zodbane says, wouldn't using my finger to imprint leave the fingerprints in the dough? I don't want anyone that I feed getting that kind of information. I don't know if the fingerprints are going to stay in there very long because they're moist. But that is something to consider. So we also have, it's hard to see some of these. What the duck won? I didn't have yams. I only had potatoes. Should I add food coloring to make it look like yours? No, actually, I think you used the right kind of potatoes and mine were wrong. But I was able to make it work because I've been cooking for so long. Orlando Trustful, hey Jerry. First time, long time, how do I make cabbage taste better? It's Henry, not Jerry, but cabbage tastes better. Well, you're going to have to get some seasoning on that. You know, some salt, some pepper, maybe some stoked paprika, some cumin. Okay, Gears Marathon says the steam from the potatoes fogs up my glasses. What should I do to stop that? I actually am glad you brought that up. I have some non-fogging goggles that I bought recently at, there's a cooking store in our neighborhood, and this is going to protect you not only from fogging, but also if you're doing onions, for example. There's all kinds of different ways that this is going to protect you, but you know what? I think that we had another successful dish here, especially the sauce part, and I'm going to have one more bite here, and then I'm going to say goodbye to you guys. And again, tomorrow night, Thursday night, I'm going to put it on the schedule. The LGX and Bumblevision and I are going to do my very first non-cooking. We do happen to be cooking, but in a variety way. Stream tomorrow at 9 p.m. Pacific time. Lots of very special fun things happening. So I hope everybody has a great Wednesday, and I can't thank you enough for joining us today, and also thank you to the moderators and all the other people who have been so helpful. And let's try to be good to each other and try to enjoy our lives with food.